Guys, let's go ahead and start the session for today. Covering the London session and start streaming as well. Okay, so I think we're all set and good to go now. I'm just going to test things out before we begin. Make sure we're live and we're okay. I believe we're live on TradingView and recording this at the same time. So as you may have seen, if you're inside my Discord group, etc., if you want to ask a question there, just click the stream queues button. If you want to ask a question on the stream, it's just started. I'm going to refresh this again. Just ask it where it says live chat. It's delayed by a few seconds. Yeah, just ask it in here and that will come up on my other screen, which I keep looking to the left for, as you've probably noticed. Any technical problems, anything, let me know. Get my free training under the stream. Okay, the link is there. And follow me on TradingView and join the Discord. The link is also underneath as well. So we're going to kick it off and we're going to go over everything you need to know for the Bank of England report. I did do a private members analysis, so if you're a paid member of Be Profitable Academy, do go ahead and go into your members area because it's right there. So if you can press the boost as well as we go along, guys, that'd be great. It helps me out. Thanks for that. Let's just let everyone know again. Okay, so I think with that, we're all set. And we're sorted. So yeah, let's go for it. So welcome. If you don't know me, I'm Will Sebastian, full-time multi-asset day trader from East Anglia, Suffolk in the UK. I teach people around the world now how to trade in various different academies. So it's great to meet you if you don't know me. And of course, as I said, you can see my free training underneath. I think everyone can see my screen okay. So I think that gives me the go ahead to start. As you'll know, we've got various Bank of England reports, news, etc., mainly concerning rates. Hi, So in Coin, nice to see you. So yeah, we're going to go over that. I've called the FTSE long, short, short, long a million times. I filmed myself making a load of money on it yesterday. I made a bunch of money on it again today, and I'm now long, and I'm just coming up to being gains, and I'll probably liquidate at the end of this stream for profit again. So that's nice and encouraging to see. I'm sure many of you saw that or whatever. I did call it in the members area for those who are paid. I told them exactly what to do, and it happened exactly as I said. Global index markets falling across the board. Okay, we called that. We said all sorts. Today, as I said, is about pounds. So I'm going to breeze through the pounds. I'm going to give a directional bias. That means I'm not going in members detail, but I will give a lot of information, I guess. And I know a lot of people who watch these streams come along every single time, which is fantastic. Clearly, I must be helping someone. But today really is a day where you don't want to mess about. You know, you want to be around so you can catch what's going on, because it goes two ways. You're either not there and you don't trade it, or you're there and you don't know what you're doing and you lose money. Okay. If there is a drastic change in the way the Bank of England is doing things, you'll see fast movements across the board. It won't just be the pounds, okay, it affects the whole market in general, because obviously if, you know, the pound moves against the AUD, it's going to cause a ripple through the markets elsewhere, and it sets the sort of standard across the board. Normally it's the US pairs that will do that in US news. US news practically dominates FX markets. But nonetheless, when people start trading, everything will start going. So you've got your pound CAD, move them all together, actually, just for now, if I can. So you've got your pound CAD, pound AUD, pound New Zealand, pound yen will drag along. These are the main pound pairs. I don't think I've forgotten any. You could have your pound Swiss. I'm not particularly interested in that just at the moment. So we're mainly going to focus on those pound pairs, because 12 noon UK time, that's in about 2.5 hours. I've actually got a road trip to do today, so I'm going to do it after that. You've got your MPC meeting, Monetary Policy Committee. They're the guys who decide what to do financially for the UK in their, what they would like to believe is their best interest. And then at 12:30 going on from that, you've got Governor Andrew Bailey, who's the governor of the Bank of England, who then talks, says all sorts, this, that, and the other. No one really cares. All we're interested in is how it affects the markets. Really, I'm not sitting there worrying about what he's actually going to say. Normally, what he says carries on from what you find out, but there are a couple of things that he could put in that really, really moves. So you have to be ready for that. Um, so yeah, if you want to say hi in the chat box, that's cool as well. Ask me a question. Let me know if you've got any problems. What's good, what's bad, anything like that, and I'll go over it. So let's start with the pound US dollar. Now the pound dollar, I just did a full in-depth hedge slash DCA risk plan analysis from a professional standpoint. Okay, it's what I do every day. But mainly, we can roll the clock back on this because once you had your sustained fall, like you had on the euro dollar, it really set precedent for what we've got now. So this big move down would have squeezed loads of traders out of the market if their risk wasn't right. Okay, they would have lost their money. I'm sure some people watching this got crunched. No one probably in my academy, but everyone who is trying to trade would have been long and long and long and long all the way along. Okay, and the problem really is that they've got no risk plan, so they lost money on the long side every time. Now, what you've got at this point is a rebound, or what you've seen is a rebound, which I called short. As many of you will know, I called it short, pretty much spot on. Okay, rebound took you to just over 0.61, just short of 0.786. Okay, so maybe 70% of the previous move, which is a good chunk of retracement. We expected that. I did say that many times as well. And what you've got at this point really is rejection at key price action levels, which is great because we talked about it brushing that key 100 MA. And you've got now this fall, and the fall has sustained itself, okay, since Friday the 14th of July all the way to the 3rd of August, right? 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. So you can see it fell right through the 20 and 40 MA. That didn't sustain it, so you don't have that strong uptrend which you saw every time you brushed along here. You did come out of it there, but normally a strong uptrend is sustained by that. So it's broken through. And we knew it was going to happen because if you're going to retrace 70% of a previous move, it's a long way. Okay, it's a very long way. If you're going to do that, you can expect a larger move back. So my bias now, I've scaled in along this morning. I'd probably look for lower time frame entry confirmation, but this for me is where I'd like to start to buy. Okay, which I've done now. As I said, it's just coinciding with key MAs, but mainly you're at your first level of key support. Okay, so if you're looking for anywhere where price is going to bounce, it's going to be somewhere where you've seen previous price rejection. Lots of people don't get that. Unfortunately, a lot of people who trade just buy willy-nilly. They just pick a spot and that's it. It's not a good idea. When you can see visibly on the chart, you can see on the chart live, people have previously had a problem with this level. You've had price rejection. So if you look below, what are you looking for next time? More of it as the same. And as long as you're sticking to that, your hit rate should rise. You're not going to be a professional trader just by buying and selling and doing nothing else. Okay, you're not going to get things right like that, but it's a good start. Okay, so you're looking to DCA and scale in the market as the price falls. And really, the best thing to do is do the key price action levels. Okay, that's mostly what I spoke this morning. But pound dollar, I'm looking to scale into the long side at those key early price action levels because I know there's rejection there. And if someone's bound to ask me, I'm surprised no one's done it yet. Okay, it normally says, Will, do you think the Bank of England is going to cause this? Or do you think the Bank of England is going to cause that? Okay, the answer is, I don't know. I don't know which way it's going to go. I'm sorry to disappoint. Maybe we even see people leave, but there's I can't tell what they're going to say and what's going to happen. But the key is to make money. I don't need to know specifically what's going to happen from the news. I don't need to know what way the news is going to take the market. It doesn't matter. Because, like I said, my predetermined long zones at key price action levels with factual, logical market trading, which I've sustained for years, will take me to the levels that I require to enter the market and indeed exit the market. Okay, and it's flip side. If the market comes up, I'll exit my longs I just spoke about and I'll flip short. If the market comes down, I'll exit my shorts and I'll flip long. Okay, all I can do is take technical trades until the market news comes out, because you don't know this until it's there. So don't guess the news. If you're seeing, 12 o'clock like this on your FX street or wherever you're viewing it, okay, if you're seeing that and you're saying, wow, you know what, maybe I should have been an economist, maybe I should have studied economics, this means to me that the pound is going to go up. And you'll get lots of people say that. You'll get lots of people who will say, oh, well, if the Bank of England does this, this is going to happen. Or if the Bank of England does that, that's going to happen. Okay? Truth is, nobody knows. And even if they put the rates up, it doesn't matter if they put them up or down. You can still have a move in the opposite direction to what everyone thought it would be. Okay? So it's a good idea to understand that. Okay, if you read the editor's note on places like FX Choice, economists expect the Bank of England to raise interest rates by 0.25%. Markets flirt with the option of a larger hike to 5.5%. Perhaps if that happens, you get a larger reaction. Governor Bailey may dampen expectations for further moves with a gloomy outlook, sinking the pound sterling. Okay, he could say something gloomy, pound sterling doesn't sink. Okay, you'll see that happen on various different assets with various different news types. The news won't always take the market exactly as people would have thought, and it can go the other way. So guessing there's just no point, right? Just trade technically before it comes out. Plan your predetermined long zones. Okay, look at all this price action. What does it mean to you? Okay, if you really get something mega, you want to let the market stretch so that you can then just get in and catch the bounce, because a lot of it really, and you'll find this factually, the market will pull down to something like this and you'll see a candle wick form and it bounce straight back up. It's no coincidence it just picked this level to do that. It did it at that level because there's key price action there and there's people, the smart money, who's going to liquidate, get long, like me. So pound New Zealand, and by the way, if you're just coming in, if you can press the boost button, guys, that'd be fantastic. And do ask me a question, that would be amazing. My free training, again, as I said, is under the stream, just a reminder. So you've got your pound New Zealand, for example, moving on to another pound. And you can see what's happening here is that it's slowing down and it's slowing down and it's slowing down. So I've been long and short. I've been trading it hedge long and trading it DCA short for a significant amount of time. I've collected various gains. I don't use stop losses. As many of you know, I say it all the time, stop losses are not necessary. However, you need full risk plans. If you don't have those, things get really bad really, really quickly. But this level of key support / price rejection formed the basis for all of these candle wicks here. So pulling back to that, you might have hedged it long, brilliant, so you're in profit. At this point, what you've got is a move up. I'm just reading the latest news. UK services PMI, it's just out, no change, more or less. German news came in earlier, there's no change really. But what I like to do is I like to scale in on lower time frames. You can see this is already teetering up to the upside. So number one, you're too late to short, and number two, there's obviously too much resistance, sort of too much support for it to fall immediately anyway. So what I would do in this case is put your time frames right up after using that information. You can see we're brushing onto this key 200 MA, okay, which is great. Really, my bias comes from reflecting over here. I think what may happen is you'll touch back around this level. Anything up there really for me is a scale in short, and I'm still short at that point. I think the market's running out of steam. I think you might pip slightly higher than that previous high, but generally anything taking you up there gives me bias where I would like to be short for definite. You just can't be buying stuff like this now. You can't be buying it. You've come such a long way. This is where you buy. And you can see, again, like what I was saying, previous price action has shown you that you've come up all these various times. Okay? It's shown you that. So you know that's your long zone. It's definitely not up here. I can tell you that. But your price action has taken you to this point before where you've fallen away and you're coming straight back to it. So don't be silly. Use your brain, use your eyes. P200 MA, really high stochastics. Definitely shouldn't be buying into them. So Big Zaz Effects, what do you think about EU? Thanks for the question, Big Zaz. EU is similar to the pound dollar. I mean, mainly this story is about pounds, but I think you may get a lower time frame entry bounce at this point, but nonetheless, I'm scaling in long 1088 is the answer to your question. Just going to go back to the pounds for now. So pound New Zealand, like I said, you should be short. And in simple terms, look where the MAs are. Okay, you're so far off your most recent and lowest MA, and that should spell catastrophic fall inbound. If the news is a little bit rash, you might find that occur. But nonetheless, I'm scaling in short still. Only thing I will say is if you're taking new entries on the pound dollar and the pound New Zealand, I would probably avoid buying this and selling that at the same time because it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. They don't move exactly the same, but I try and avoid doing that if I can. It just keeps my portfolio clean. I mean, it's preferential, but it's just more work. It's harder work if you do that because you have to manage two different trades with the same base currency while they're doing different things. I mean, if you swap onto something like the pound order, you can see again, rejection is immediately in the market. So you obviously are too late to short it. I don't like shorting into early support, definitely. So I actually like it slightly higher. Same with your pound New Zealand. So if you'd rather trade it short and let it move to this point and not trade that pound or long, that is an option. But as I said, if you're going to trade one long, two short at the exact same time, I mean, you can have previous positions left in the market, but if you're going to enter them at the same time, you're basically hedging yourself somewhat. They don't move the same, but I just try and avoid doing that. So pound ord, if you get the news, like I said, I don't know if the news is going to take the pound ord higher or not. I don't know if it's going to take it lower. But what I do know is I can plan ahead. If the market does rise, I can enter short. Okay? And I'd probably look for a fall back to your earliest point of reference, which comes at your earliest price action level, just shy of 1939. I would suspect you'd come back to these key MAs, however, as well. So if you're swing trading it, you might find you reach this point eventually. How long that takes, don't know, but there is support in the way. So I would go 191855. So yeah, that's your pound order. Has anyone got any questions? As I say, if you're just coming in, smash the boost button. It's really helpful. If you're wondering where the boost is, I haven't refreshed it yet, but the boost button is just there. If you can press that, ask a question in here, and if you want to join for free with everything I offer, you can do it there. I will leave my email in as well. Actually, I won't type it in there. But anyone who's serious about trading with me, because I know some guys often ask me, that is where you need to go. The link is done a double HTTP, but it still takes you to the same place. So that's a link for my free training, and then you can also go on and my entry to my academy is there as well, where I cover all this kind of thing. Like I said, I did a live members analysis earlier. So pound or pound New Zealand, like I said, you've had a slight fall this morning. Clearly, it's been rejected immediately. You should have exited those shorts if you had them. And I'm looking slightly higher. If the news takes us there, it does. If it doesn't, it's not a problem. We can look to start to relong lower on falls at levels of predetermined key support. Likely that 20 MA will creep up if you get that scenario, which would be very ideal because it makes things easier to trade. Pound CAD. Pound CAD is a lot more choppy. And again, you could perhaps long the pound CAD and long the US dollar, or alternatively, short pound New Zealand, short pound AUD. Okay, don't do both at the same time. This is really a scalper's market, and like many of you know who follow me, I don't do the sort of pattern breakout kind of thing that people do. So yeah, I'll get to that. Peaceful Antelope, welcome back as well. I've seen you here before. I'm just going to cover this and then I'll do a few extra questions afterwards. I'm just keeping the main focus on the pounds. So what you've seen really, like I said, I don't do patterns and breakouts. It's all a load of crap. If you watch it, mostly people are just teaching you to lose money. The main reason why you should focus on things like this, however, is that simply every single low and every single high is getting closer and closer together, and your profit margin gets significantly reduced. So don't be one of those guys who guesses on a breakout there or guesses on a breakout there. Breakout means you know what's happened afterwards, after it's broken out. It's a past tense term or whatever you would call it. So you can only scalp this. You can only scalp it until you get to the perimeters. Because if you're waiting for a breakout, you're a gambler. You're guessing. Don't do it. Especially as the news is coming, you'll have loads of gamblers out there who are coming on their computers. Right, you know, like I said, they're inner economists. They should have studied economics, but they didn't. Their dad told them they can't do it or something like that. And they think, wow, the pound is going to sink based on Andrew Bailey's report. And then you'll get another 100 million people who will be saying, no, pound's going to go up. And then you've got people like me and people in my academy who say, I don't care what way it goes. I'm going to wait for it up or I'm going to wait for it down. Okay, then I'm going to enter short when it gets there, or I'm going to enter long. And what happens is you find simply that you're getting to a point where it doesn't really matter what happens. And you've got the head start over the news gamblers, the news guessers, because they all think that they can guess what's going to happen, but you've got an advantage because you can simply wait to see what happens and trade the reaction. It's so much better. And I don't know why everyone doesn't do it, but I think that's the difference, really. I mean, a lot of the rubbish you'll see online mainly concerns breakouts. And like I said, breakouts concern gambling because you have to guess what is going to happen. Is it going to break to the upside? Is it going to break to the downside? And it's just not a good idea because the other thing is as well, if you are trading a breakout and you decide to buy at this point because of that, you're buying into resistance. You're buying where the price has fallen twice already. Okay? It's not a good idea. And it doesn't work. It literally doesn't work factually. Okay? You can see how it wouldn't because you're buying into sell areas. But on top of that, tell me if your trading has been changed by it. Has been changed by breakout pattern trading, and I bet you it hasn't. So yeah, that's a little bit on that. Ord Swiss, Peaceful Antelope, like I said, welcome back. It's falling and falling and falling. Technically, yes, it is a long, but I don't like trading things like this, particularly when I've got all this other glorious stuff to trade. Okay, because you don't have much. I mean, like I said, technically, yes, it's a long, but you've been coming down for a significant amount of time. I would say on the Ord Swiss and the New Zealand dollar Swiss, eventually you'll reap the benefit. but it's going to be down to your risk plans, how you survive that. So technically, yes, it's a good long. I agree with you, but how long it's going to take is your issue here. Okay, so I think eventually, like most assets, you'll get up higher, but it's just simply a case of knowing, can you handle that? And obviously, that's exactly what I teach people in my academy. If you do want to ask me anything about my academy as well, you can DM me on TradingView, or if you email me at willsebastian@willofthetrader.com, you can ask me anything there. The breakout velocity comes from crypto. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly reasonable to say. I think people were doing it before then, but yeah, I mean, they probably said it all the way through. They got roasted. Okay, in here, all saying, oh, it's broken out this way, that way. And like I said, you only know something's broken out after it breaks out. What use is that? It's like crashing a car and then realizing that you've crashed it versus just planning ahead and being careful. It's just completely, it's nonsensical, I think. So your pound yen, I did a full breakdown on for Academy members only earlier. But with this, I think you'll probably get 4-hour rejection just prior to news because this is a scalper's market sideways. If you're not trading that, it doesn't interest me greatly. I would rather it really took you down, okay, or it took you up before I even thought about trading it. It's just not ideal, okay? Anything up there is a short, but I did do a fairly recent view on this. If you're going to short it, I would actually hold off similarly to your pound AUD and pound New Zealand. I think you'll get slightly higher, and you might even find ultimately you get up here. So be very cautious on the pound yen. I would only lightly short, and I would spread those shorts out because I think there's a good chance you could get significantly higher. 1936 after 1858. So any shorting on the pound New Zealand, I really would take your time with it. Nonetheless, you have come up a significant way, so I do expect eventually you'll get significant pullback nearer 172, but you need to scale in those shorts lightly via DCA methods. Don't be one of those guys who thinks they're going to get it right every time. I'm not right every time. I'm right a lot of the time. You know, more or less 90% is my hit rate as I posted publicly, sent to everyone. But you just have to be very careful, and it's more about where you close out of the market. There's a lot of it is about where you get in, but also where you close out is very important. Oil, I'm probably going to hedge long lower if we can get there. At this point, peaceful antelope, just be careful with that. As I said, you need exact risk plans for your equity, all of which I supply in my academy. If you get a significant fall on oil, I'm still holding shorts. I would like to rescale long here, and that's what I'm going to do. You could take it perhaps relatively light before then, let's say 76.85 area, possibly. But within those two lines I've just drawn, really you don't have much. So one or the other. You could have a light front runner, remainder of your position there. You get a dollar cost average in between of, you know, something like that. Okay. So I hope that helps with oil. Not much to say there. I did speak about this. This is a little bit important actually. Gold, I called it scalp long 1935. If you had that, I would close out now for no win, no loss. You might get a tiny gain depending on your spread, but that's not attractive to me. Okay, again, I'm reflecting on early PA, and I don't want that. So if you're going to buy it, simply I would just hold off for a further fall. It really needs to come down lower. I do really like it 1877, 1870 plus. But you'd need to come to your next leg. I mean, I think that would really display natural market movement and the way the markets normally move, which is in steps a lot of the time. especially when you've got lots of previous price action. The market will go tiptoe along, and as I said, in steps. So you might find it gets nearer to 1860. You could further DCO light sizes. But I'm not interested in buying it until it comes under where you've previously had it, because it's just not significant for me enough. Yeah, so you've got UK ONS. I've got my live news up here. You've got UK ONS, different things coming up about jobs. Minor news doesn't really affect anything. Just interesting. Of course, you've got your Bank of England news at noon. Okay, so that comes out in a bit. Think I've done all the pound pairs at this point. Is there anything notable? Really? Yes, I would say I did a video on the AUD. Okay, I like the AUD long. I'm long AUD dollar. I think you might get just to 64.98. You might get slightly lower. Anything under that, I'm scaling in further for tech long zones down here. So I'll let the market slide if I need to. I'll update that post accordingly. It's all down there. So the main thing to take away today is you've got a lot of Bank of England news coming, but you need full risk plans. Okay, and you need to be very careful when you're doing this. Don't guess the news. Don't be that guy, okay, because it doesn't end well. As I said, if you want to get started myself, it's in the chat box right there. Okay, click that link. Press the boost. Haven't refreshed it, so I'm sure there's a lot more, but press the boost. Free training. Join the Discord. It's all under the stream. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that helps as always. I can't see any further questions at this point. I may just give a brief second to see, because I know the stream's delayed. I'm restreaming it more or less. If I can't see any questions, then I'll just end the stream. And as I said, if you're a paid Academy member, there's a full live breakdown of my trading plans in there for today. So can't see any questions, so we're going to end the stream there. Thanks for coming, guys. Hope that helps as always. I'll see you in the next one.